Hello, and thank you for joining us in this graduation preparation workshop with Emily Dolezal and myself, Michael Felton. You've made it! It's been quite a long journey, but you are finally on your way. Our objective here is to help you all prepare for graduation and not miss your connection to your diploma. If you have any questions for us after the video, there is information on how to contact us at the end of the video. In this presentation, we will plan to cover the topics of the graduation application process, the difference between graduation and commencement. We'll go over any program-specific information. Emily will go over the degree progress report, and we'll close with how you will go about receiving your diploma. Finding where to submit for graduation is luckily quite easy. All you would need to do is go to the MSU Denver Student Hub, and at the bottom of the page you will find a link to apply for graduation. When you are thinking about when to apply for graduation, you will generally want to do it the semester before you intend to graduate. If you are planning to graduate in the summer, you will apply between February and March. If you're planning on a fall graduation, you'll want to apply in between April and June. Spring graduation, you'll apply between September through November. This will add you to the graduation list where the degree evaluation team will begin looking over your progress towards meeting graduation requirements and receiving emails from the commencement team. When the deadline first hits, the degree evaluation team will review all submitted applications and begin to send out emails to you about whether or not you are meeting requirements. There are a couple things to remember about these reviews. They do not check for repeat courses, so things could come up short in credits. They do not give you any specific details about why you may not be meeting those requirements. What will end up happening next is, they will send us advisors a list of those students that are not currently meeting requirements so that we may hopefully get a chance to get in touch with you quickly and help you make adjustments as needed to help you meet requirements. If you are meeting requirements, you may not receive any messaging from us at all. This review process is done a couple times within the semester. If things aren't in before the first check, we may not have time to make changes to your schedule in that particular semester. We do our best to review each requirement check to keep you aware of what else is needed. A lot of times, when students are thinking about graduation, they're thinking about the moment they are crossing the stage, receiving the diploma folio in front of their peers, family, and friends, and concluding their undergraduate time at the university. That moment is actually called commencement. That is the ceremony that signals the end of a lot of time studying and work. But at that moment, the students have not yet graduated. Graduation is actually when a student has met all requirements for graduating and final grades are posted, meaning they got their general studies credits completed. They have taken all the courses required for the major and or concentration specific requirements. If a minor was needed, making sure it's completed. Also making sure that general elective credits have been met. Schedule a grad check if you're not sure you still need any general electives. MSU Denver has graduation requirements for courses with an ESSJ or GD designation. And there are 39 required upper division credits needed to meet graduation requirements. Now, we will get into the specifics of each of the majors and concentrations of the Aviation and Aerospace Department. These are the things a professional flight officer student will need to make sure they have to meet graduation requirements. You'll want to make sure you have your private pilot's license and that you have completed the instrument and commercial ratings. Making sure you have your CFI, or AGI and IGI, or have the commercial multi-engine add-on. Your specific catalog gear will say what you need. If you are unsure, please reach out to us and we will let you know what you are needing. There is something called the discrepancy deadline, where this will be your last chance to get anything turned in to count towards graduation requirements. This deadline is about 2 weeks from the date final grades are posted. If you are not sure that you will be able to complete all the requirements for the pro flight concentration, get in touch with us and we can talk over options. The sooner you are having these thoughts, the sooner you should contact us to have these options discussed. If you need to push out your projected graduation date, meet with us to help you get that process started to change your date. Basically, just stay in touch with us. If you are done with your core work, but you are not going to be able to complete your requirements before the discrepancy deadline, you will have an active MSU Denver student account for 3 semesters from your last enrollment to complete your remaining requirements and get those things in before you need to readmit to the university. There have been some changes to the Aviation and Aerospace Management major. A minor specifically from the College of Business is no longer required as a graduation requirement. This is retroactive to past catalog years. If you're not sure that you need the requirement, please reach out to us to check. Generally, a minor would make up the remainder of the required 120 total credits after the core courses and general studies for the Aviation and Aerospace Management major. If you have a minor, and you've already made some progress on it, it is suggested that you complete the minor. If you have not declared a minor yet, you are welcome to do so still. Again, this time, it is not limited to the College of Business. If you do not want to declare a minor, you can think about adding an additional certificate to the Airport Management Certificate that should already be added to your account. You will also want to be sure to reach out to the Aviation Management Program Director to have the minor requirement removed. If the Airport Management Certificate is not declared for you already, please reach out to us and get that added. You could also take courses as general electives to fill the remainder credits, meaning you can take any course across the MSU Denver campus as long as you meet the prerequisites to take that course. There is also an important sequence of courses that are only offered in certain semesters, so be sure to keep in touch with us to make sure that you are on the right strategic path to take those courses. For aerospace operations, there is also an important sequence of courses that are only offered in certain semesters, so be sure to keep in touch with us to make sure that you're taking the right courses at the right times. Depending on your catalog year for aerospace operations, you might need a degree exception to substitute some courses to meet graduation requirements. You'll want to meet with an aerospace operations faculty lead. For our ATC students, you'll want to make sure that you have taken enough upper division courses in your AES electives to meet upper division requirements, as not much of it will come from the core courses. Because you have the freedom of courses with the AES electives, you can be strategic about the courses you take to work on adding a certificate if you want. Also, depending on your catalog year, your senior experience needs will be different. Check in with us to make sure that you are lined up with the proper senior experience. If you need a degree exception or substitution, these types of requests must be made through a faculty lead of the program. You're welcome to copy us in those messages as well. If you've already got some degree exceptions, check in with us to make sure that things are lined up correctly to meet graduation requirements. If you have a certificate, depending on how many you have, you will submit a graduation application for your degree and each of the certifications. We've stressed throughout this for you to keep in touch with us and to make sure that you're on track. We're sure through the appointments you've had with us, we've gone over the Degree Progress Report, or DPR, with you. As you approach graduation, understanding the DPR becomes more important to make sure that you are on track and not surprised by any requirements. Again, keep in touch with us. So, here is Emily to run you through the DPR.
Hey, I'm going to take it over now and start to talk about some common things that you may see on your degree progress report. When you do an individualized grad check with either myself or Michael, we'll probably go through these very individualized points with you specifically for your degree progress report, but wanted to give you an idea of kind of what you want to start to look for on there when you are starting to look at how close you are to graduation and that sort of thing. So in the little bar graphs at the top, I tend to tell students to ignore those just because they can be kind of frustrating, except in a few different circumstances. And when you're registered for your final semester of classes is when you do want to take a look at that specifically. So for non-pro flight students, generally when you're registered for your final semester of classes, you want to make sure that you have that 98% requirements completed. 98% is what you want to see. It does not flip over to 100% until you have grades in your final classes, and you won't generally see that, right? Because you're not coming to look back at your degree progress report. For our professional flight officer students who still need to submit flight certifications, 94% or 95% is common there. And again, just check in with us whether you see 98% completed, or if you don't, just again do a grad check with us and we'll make sure that everything looks good. Then you'll see a couple of other really important things. So for any bachelor's degree, a minimum of 120 credits is required. And so we'll kind of talk about how those are made up or how those might be distributed in your degree progress report. And then your academic catalog year is also reflected on your degree progress report as well. So your academic catalog year is based upon when you entered the university, and unless there was a really specific reason to change it, we won't. So the academic catalog is released each year. It lists the requirements for every degree on campus for that year. And those requirements can change slightly year to year. So you just want to make sure that you're following your academic catalog requirements. They could be different from your friends if they started at a different time at the university. So, and then you'll see minimum credits required, 120. If you're looking on your degree progress report, it says you currently have 58 for this example. That is going to include all of your current registration. So that's going to include the current semester that you're maybe attending right now, or like say that it's in the time where you're registered for both spring and summer classes. It's going to include that current spring registration as well as that future summer registration as well. And then that upper division requirement, so any bachelor's degree overlapping with that 120 credits, so worked into that 120 credits minimum, a minimum of 39 of those must be upper division or 3,000, 4,000 level credits. As you continue, you'll see the senior experience requirement. Every single program within the aviation aerospace department has the senior experience specifically written into the curriculum. There's nothing extra you'll have to do here as long as you're completing the curriculum as stated for your program. Then you see this general studies section. So a minimum of 33 credits is required for general studies, and of course you have to complete all of the different sections in that general studies. However, you may have some additional credits here. So you may take a math course that's 4 credits, or maybe even 5 if you take a lab with it. Maybe you have a physics course that's 4 credits rather than 3. So this minimum 33 credits is required here, but you may have additional credits within your general study section, and those can be used within that minimum 120 credit calculation overall. As you continue down, for our students that have the bachelor's in aviation aerospace science where concentration is required, so this is going to be our aerospace operations students, our ATC students, our pro flight students. You're going to have this section in degree progress report that says concentration required and stays incomplete basically until your program is completed. And so I know I can't have it removed. Believe me, I've asked to try to get it removed from the degree progress report, but it's going to stay there. And as long as your classes are populating below that particular section, then you're all good. So our aviation aerospace management students won't see this, but our students within those concentrations are going to see this particular section. And as long as you have that section right below, in this particular case, it's concentration in professional flight officer, and the classes are populating, or you'll see concentration in aerospace ops or concentration in ATC, you're all good, okay? Then if we look in that concentration in professional flight officer information, it says credits required. These are major specific credits, 78. And then credits applied is that 26. If we look just below that, the unmet conditions for this set of requirements, a minimum of 78 major specific credits is required. You currently have 26. You need 52 more. This really becomes important when we're doing graduation planning because say that 26, for example, is going to include every single class that is currently reflected on your degree progress report, even future semester registration. So again, using our example of your degree progress report, you're registered for both current spring classes and upcoming summer classes. As long as those courses are populating into degree progress report, then that 26 is going to include that. So in that particular scenario, when we're doing graduation timeline planning, if it says you currently have 26 credits in this particular section, but that's including both spring and summer classes, then that 52 credits is going to be after that. Those 2 semesters that you've registered for have been completed. So again, this comes really into play as we're doing really specific graduation timeline planning. Again, work with us. You also see this note, the amount of credits may need to be adjusted dependent upon academic catalog year. Again, truly just work with us and we'll make sure that this is all taken care of. But some courses have changed the number of credits that is required for those particular classes. So we'll work with you. Then if you see that last kind of little green box and note, a minor or additional 6 to 9 credits of additional credits is required. So this is in relation to that 120 credits. So again, 120 credits minimum is required for any bachelor's degree whatsoever. For this particular example, for a professional flight officer student, in this particular catalog year, then those credits are going to be distributed. 33 minimum, 33 of those credits are going to be within general studies courses. 78 of those are going to be those pro-flight specific courses. And then pro-flight students in this particular catalog year have 6 to 9 to make up that collective 120. But remember, in the example that we kind of talked about before, maybe you have a 4 or 5 credit hour math that you completed instead of 3. So you've got 1 to 2 extra credits there. Maybe you took a 4 credit hour class in general studies. That's another credit there. So these credits, this 120 can be distributed in really different ways throughout your degree progress report. So just make sure, again, that you're checking in with us and we'll make sure that we're accounting for all of that individually. As we progress through your degree progress report, you'll see a senior experience, typically written out quite explicitly, but ATC students, it's not as explicit. Again, work with us, we'll make sure you're doing it well. But every single program, as you continue, has some specific sequencing or something that you need to follow. So there's some really specific prerequisite sequencing in programs. Maybe not every class is offered each semester. So definitely continue to work with myself, Michael, or faculty advisor, just so we can make sure that as you progress, as you get toward graduation, you're completing your degree in the most strategic and efficient way possible. Then you can see fall through here. This is called additional courses in degree progress report. No idea why it shows differently when you print it out versus looking at it in real time. But you'll see 4 credits in this particular section. So these courses are not specifically working toward general studies or major specific requirements, but they are working toward that 120 total. So right in the example of this particular degree progress report, it said 6 to 9 additional credits is required to make that 120. So here you've got your, for example, 33 credit general studies, 78 credits of major specific requirements. Here you've got 4 additional free elective credits to get up to that collective 120, but maybe you have some extra credits up in your general studies to account for, to work toward that 6 to 9. So the fall through or the additional courses really does not have to specifically say that number if those credits are reflected elsewhere in your degree progress report. You may have a section in degree progress report that says insufficient. Maybe you failed a class or 2, maybe you withdrew from a class or 2, those would be reflected here. If you did change from professional flight officer maybe earlier on and switch to another major or concentration, you may also have a flight lab here. And so this particular student has an incomplete in this specific flight lab. Maybe you have a U and unsatisfactory in that flight lab. If that's the case, and if you are not going to finish that flight certification before finishing at MSU Denver, work with myself, work with Michael, or a faculty advisor, and we'll talk about possibilities on that and getting that resolved. Then you can see this in progress section. So you can see in this particular example, the student is registered for 16 credits for the spring 25 semester. If you remember earlier in the degree progress report, we talked about you are currently registered for this many credits, you have this many after that. If this student were registered for both spring and summer, future summer classes as well, those credits of you are currently registered for are going to include every single class, both current and future in progress courses on your degree progress report. So far, we've covered the graduation application process, where to submit it, and what happens when you do submit a graduation application. We've talked about the big difference between commencement and graduation. We've talked about program-specific information that you want to keep in mind as you're being strategic completing your degree requirements. We've talked about some really common things that you want to look out for on your degree progress report. Let's talk about the goal. Let's talk about actually receiving your diploma in hand, because now we know it's not going to happen during commencement. So, how do you actually receive your diploma? So after final grades are issued for a semester, and if you remember, that's always after commencement. So after final grades are issued for a particular semester, then our degree evaluation team is going to review every single student graduation application for that particular semester. The discrepancy deadline hits, and remember that discrepancy deadline is the deadline of every single possible thing, including flight certifications, needs to be submitted for that particular semester. So, commencement happens, final grades are issued, the discrepancy deadline hits. Then our degree evaluation team can finally do those very, very final graduation checks. And only after that point can diplomas be printed and mailed out for that particular semester. This process takes about 2 months or so. And so when you're putting in your address for the graduation application, you want to put it in a location that you know somebody is going to be there securely at for the next 2 to 3 months. So if you're going to graduate and get on out of town right away, you want to make sure to put an address of someone that you trust that is going to be in the same location for a minimum of 2 to 3 months, so that they can receive your diploma when it actually arrives via snail mail in 2 to 3 months after your final semester. Thanks for watching our graduation workshop video. We hope you found it helpful and got some good information, tips, and tricks. If we didn't say it enough, which hopefully we did, really, most importantly, is just to continue to check in with someone as you're preparing to graduate. I would rather do 8 grad checks for literally every single student than have any surprises when it comes to your graduation status, and I imagine you agree. So schedule an appointment, send an email, come for drop-ins. Just get in touch in some way, and we'll make sure that you're in really good shape as you progress toward finishing your degree, as you complete those requirements, and as you head out of MSU Denver as a proud alumni. To schedule an appointment with me, Michael, or a faculty advisor, you can call the Aviation and Aerospace Department directly at 303-605-5287. My email is edolezal@msudenver.edu, edolezal@msudenver.edu, and Michael's is mfelton1@msudenver.edu. mfelton1@msudenver.edu. Keep in touch. Before you log off, we'd ask that you please scan the QR code and complete a quick 7-question feedback survey. I promise, it's quick and anonymous. We want to hear what you think. This workshop is for you, and we need to make sure that you all leave feeling prepared and knowledgeable about the graduation process. Your feedback will also help us continue to improve this for future students. Congratulations, you're so close to graduating. You're almost at the finish line. We cannot wait to see what you do as you take off from MSU Denver.